Hey coffee friends, welcome to another painting. Today's painting is inspired by a long day of work, tons to do, and 8 cups of coffee. And yeah, your spirit animal is an octopus. So, sit back, relax, take a break, definitely take a break, and enjoy a cup of coffee. And if you want, I've even attached a printable version to follow along. Cheers! Welcome! Today we're painting an octopus with coffee. We're going to be painting an 8x10. So, get your tape laid out and get your material set up, and then find the center mark. From there, we'll head down a little bit and we'll make a cone shape to be the octopus's head, and then a little horseshoe shape to be the eye, and then face the other way for the other eye. The next step, you're going to draw the oval shapes for the coffee mug. So make sure you draw 7 of them. I accidentally drew 6 here. And then leave the 8th off. I've got a special idea for that one. I think you'll like it too. And once you have all those drawn, we'll work on the mugs themselves. So there's going to be like a cylinder shape. Lightly draw that in case we need to erase, depending on where the arms of the octopus are going, because some will be in the front and some will be behind the mugs. So we'll decide that after. And don't get too worried about where the mugs are now. We can always erase and move them around depending on what you like. This next step is pretty tricky. We're going to draw a hexagonal shape. The flat sides are kind of angled towards the mugs. It'll be a 6-sided shape, and then it'll help kind of show you where you want the octopus's arms to be. Now draw the top of the octopus's arm, which will be flat, and lead that back to the octopus's body. And then underneath, we're going to draw little indents for the suckers, and it makes it pretty neat. It makes it very octopus-like. And then work on this next arm. We're going to make it go behind the mug. Little suckers right there. You can add more or less. And then we're going to have that go through the mug handle. So it makes it kind of neat, like he's holding it, you know. And this will give you a rough idea for placement. And then when we do the pen work, we can make the suckers more defined and bigger so that we can put little circles inside of them. But yeah, just do this and figure out where you want the arms to be. And then this next arm, we're going to have it not holding a coffee mug. I've got a good idea for it. So just kind of make it angled up like a striking cobra, if you will. I didn't like the placement of this cup, so I ended up erasing it. Remember, you can always erase and redraw depending if you like it or not. I made the cone shape of the head a little bit better. And yeah, just things change. You can always erase and change things if you're not happy with it. So please don't feel like you had to follow my drawing to the exact same. But yeah, have fun with it, and I hope you enjoy it so far. Yours is looking great. And if you're wondering what the backward C shape is underneath of his left eye, that is the octopus's ear, his earlobe, so make sure you draw that little piece. And this next arm, will have it go behind that other arm and over top of the mug as if it's holding it. Okay, once the arms are drawn, we'll go back and clean it up. So we'll fix all the handles and erase the octopus's hand, try to make it look like it's going through it or behind it. And this can be a little tricky, but once you do 1 or 2, you'll understand the way that it looks and the way that makes sense. And I also took this time to erase some of the mugs and make them more cylindrical or round at the bottom so that it just looks better before we marker this thing. So for this next mug, we're going to do a straight up and down oval, followed by a sideways cylinder. It's going to be as if the cup has been finished, the octopus laid it down, a little bit of his coffee spilled out, so I just think it's a fun addition, and it looks cool. It keeps it from just being a normal old octopus with coffee painting, you know, so you can make it yours, some character. And then 2 little drops, like it splashed out. For the eyes, I just did a basic circle, and tried to just do like a jalapeno shape pepper for the inner bit of the eye, followed by a tiny little white dot. This took me a few tries to get it right, but make sure you do before you move on to the next step. Okay, the fun part, markering. Now you can really make the sucker pieces on the octopus's arm more detailed, and you can really lay down the basis of how you want this octopus to look. So just remember that marker is permanent, so take your time And pay attention to the hands, whether they go in or outside of the coffee mug, and whether some pieces of the octopus go behind the coffee mug. So yeah, have fun with it. And it looks much better defined in black. I like it a lot, and it gives it some boldness. Be sure to erase all the pencil line marks. We don't need those anymore. And once you add watercolor to it, it makes them almost permanent. They're really hard to erase after, so I recommend doing it now. Next, we're going to add in the little sucker marks on the arms. I think it's a good touch, makes it very octopus-like. And this is a good time to make some of the lines more defined. Give this piece a little more character, like up there on the cone head. I made it a little darker, and I make some of the arms a little heavier. It makes the octopus have some weight to it. And I took this time to color in the eyes black, but make sure you leave the center mark white so that it has a little white for the pupil, and I think it looks good. Coffee time! Get out your instant coffee. It is time to paint. I filled one halfway up with water, and I filled another one up with a little less. Stirred around with a paintbrush, let it sit for a few minutes, and then we're going to test it on the side to see what it looks like. There's the lighter one, clean your brush, and there's the darker one. It gives you a good visual to look at while you're painting, and we'll make a little cheat sheet as well. Once you have your colors painted, we'll set it down. Here's a 2-minute time lapse just to speed things up for you. And then I'll teach you what a bloom is. And that's when you take a dab of water and you touch an almost dry bit of paint, and it spreads all the way out to the sides and makes this crazy looking explosion of color. You can even do it with the coffee, light or dark, and it'll make a dark bloom. It looks super cool. I love it. Perfect for this octopus. Especially because their colors are all over the place. So here you'll see there's a bloom of coffee right there. The lighter one's a bloom with water. And it's just an awesome technique. You can use it on a ton of paintings. I've seen it in roses, birds, waves, anything. It's a really cool technique. So then put it down and you have something to look at while we paint this octopus. We're going to start by lathering just plain clear water just to make the octopus wet so that the colors of it move around easier and you don't have any harsh dry lines to start. And now we're going to add the coffee. So get some coffee down. You can add more coffee to make it darker, less coffee to make it lighter. If you do want it lighter, you can always clean the brush. Take the brush and pull off some of the coffee off of the paper. That can make it lighter. Or make it darker. Grab some dark coffee and dot it in there and just have fun with it. But make sure you color in the lines, because it is very obvious with a color as dark and as bold as coffee that if you color outside of the lines, it might show up. So take your time and bring your steady hand. Good luck. And here you'll see me laying down some dark dots of coffee that are going to turn into a bloom and make a very unique texture on this octopus. I had a lot of fun with it, and yeah, my best tip for you is to just experiment till you like it, and you'll decide when it's done. That's what art is. So put your own touch on it, your own spin, and as long as you like it, that's what matters. Time to paint the mugs. So make sure you have some clean water so that you don't end up making it somewhat coffee tinted, and then get to painting your mugs. So pick a bunch of fun colors, paint it whatever colors you want. One technique, one tip, is dry the brush and then pull the paint off in a little bit of a line, and it makes ceramic objects like this look round looks shiny, like almost 3D. So I dry the brush, get the paint off, and right there you can see a little line of no color, and that just really helps to make it look 3D. This is the exact moment that I realized that this octopus only had 7 arms, not 8. I totally miscalculated. So I'm trying to figure out the placement for this 8th arm. I hope you did not make the same mistake, and I apologize if you followed along this far and didn't catch it. My only tip for the arm is to make sure the paint around is dry, because you don't want the marker to bleed and ruin your piece. And I am truly sorry about not catching that sooner. Really embarrassing, I know, but if you're doing the printable version and you're coloring it in, that one does in fact have 8 arms, so you have nothing to worry about. But yeah, just pick some fun colors, color in the mugs, and have a good time with it. We're going to draw a horizontal line in the coffee mugs to show the level of the coffee, and then we can have fun with it. We can draw little teardrops coming off this pink mug as if it's spilling over. Just some cool touches. And then we'll take the marker and we'll define it. And then we'll color in the back of the coffee mugs. So just take the same color, add a touch of black so it has some shading, some darkness to it, and then just paint that little bit behind the mug. Pull out your tiniest brush and it's time to add the coffee. Make sure you take your time here. You don't want to look like someone that has had 8 cups of coffee and your hands shaking all over the place, because I know mine would. But yeah, it's turned out to be really, really cool. I'm loving this. I didn't really want a white background, so I got a really watered out blue, and I painted the background really wet so that there wouldn't be any harsh lines, and I just added a little bit more till I was happy with it. You can leave it or you can color it. And this is the most important part. Sign it. Claim this. This is your artwork. Now that it's dry, I remove the tape, and it's time to check it out. The blooms on this thing are just incredible. I really enjoy it. I think it looks like an octopus. It has crazy patterns, and they usually do. It was a lot of fun. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you want to do one, I'll put the link to the coloring version down below and on my website. Give this a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Let's get roasted.